Perfect. And go ahead, Lou.
Perfect. Awesome. Very nice to meet you all. My name is Lou, and I'm a dentist by trade, and my company is Smile Wide. So, what we want to do here is to make dentures accessible to all. The reason why I started this company is because when I graduated in 2019 from Université de Montréal, I had to finish my certain part of my diploma where we had to do certain rotation in different clinic. So, I was assigned to a low income clinic where people would come in and they would need their teeth taken out because they were so damaged, and we would take those teeth out, but afterwards they were kind of left stuck because dentures were extremely expensive, and they still are. Then a normal pair of dentures will range anywhere from 1,200 to $2,000. So that is very expensive for anybody who already is at a low income clinic. And these people would, on top of the trauma of losing their teeth, they would be then stuck in the situation. So that got the ball rolling on my side, and that's why I founded SmileWise. So before I get into the gist of it all, I like to start it with a little bit of humor. So I'm going to show you a picture, and could you tell me what is wrong with this picture? So there you go. Obviously, it's a man. He's missing a tooth. But did you also notice that he's missing an eyebrow? So yeah, so that's kind of what we're going for. A smile is so important for a person's well-being. It is part of their social and mental wholeness. So if they have a missing tooth, and one of my first patients that I ever had with Smile Wide was telling me, well, I can get a job interview because I can go and speak to the person if I'm missing my front tooth. So that's how and this is the big why of why we're here. And before we start, what is a denture? So a denture is a custom implant to replace missing teeth, and it allows us to reestablish function. But it's never going to be as great as your normal teeth. So it's like having a prosthetic leg. So it's never going to be exactly the same. And also, we're palliating to something that's lost. So this is also why I put a picture here. So if you look at the partial denture, which replaces a few teeth. So if you're only missing a few teeth, you're wearing a partial denture. There is a big metallic component there, and it usually is how they're made. They have a frame, and then they have the missing teeth on them. So that's something to kind of keep in your mind and to when you look at the dentures that we're able to make. And also there are full dentures where a person has lost all their teeth, and then they have to replace the whole set on the arch. And that's what they kind of look like. So the problem: 6 million Canadians avoid going to the dentist because dental costs are rising year after year. Dentures are one of the most expensive care there is. It's around $1,200 to $2,000. And that's a big dent in somebody's, especially if you're just an average family trying to, survive on one or two paycheck. Also, if you're missing top and bottom teeth, then you're looking at a double of this cost because then you need two dentures to replace the teeth that you're missing. Also, statistically wise, when we look at insurance don't really cover dentures. They might cover a certain percentage, but very rare will I find a patient that actually has a complete coverage with their dentures. Sorry. And then amongst that group of people without without dental instruments, the seniors are the most vulnerable. 60 in the age group of 60 to around 80 years of age, these people are without dental insurance. At least 53% of them are without dental insurance, and we know how income can be very limited when you age. So the impact is obviously that low income earners and Canadian without dental insurance lack affordable denture alternative. So what we're looking at is not that we're looking to come and replace dentures and we're not coming to look at and replace dentists and denturists. They're offering a certain product that, can be more expensive. And what we're always comparing them is that they're kind of like the Bentley of dentures. Like you can get one with the frame, with the metal, and that'll cost you north of 1 or 2 grand. We're looking for what we're offering is a little reliable Toyota that can get you from A to B, and that can be something that you can get when you can or don't want to fork up that $2,000. So there is nothing right now in that market. And the way that we deliver it is through an innovative way of giving denture care. So it's not just a denture we're offering, it's the way that we're revamping completely the way that we're delivering denture care. And there's two pillars on which we rely, which is one, a digital process, which I will get into later, but it allows us to make our dentures cheaper, more comfortable, better fitting, more aesthetic. And also we're relying on mobile/roving clinics. Sometimes I use the term pop-up, but it's a little bit confusing because it's not like a pop-up shop where you're kind of like grabbing people on the street. It's really a shop that we can go to a place and we can settle there, for example, like a retirement home, a community center, any existing clinic, we can get there, because really what we need to give this top-tier denture care is a laptop, an intraoral camera that fits into a bag, and also a computer. But that's kind of what we need. And also, sorry, and also our toolbox. So toolbox, my computer, and my intraoral camera is what we really need to have a functioning denture clinic. So we are combining the digital side of healthcare with an in-person combination. So that's why we're giving, we're calling them roving clinic instead of a typical brick and mortar dental clinic or a dental clinic that you will find. And the value of what we offer is obviously a personalized type of care, time-saving, cost-saving, quality denture, and our overall service. Our business model is really rests on 4 main points. So again, in-person and virtual care. We're kind of sharing the load of that version of care with in-person appointments and also a virtual follow-up and a virtual side of it. It reduces the number of visits because typically a denture process requires 6 appointments. We're able to get it down to 2 for partial dentures and 3, actually 2 for both of them, partial denture and full denture, is that the full denture will have a virtual component. So we're able to send them a trial denture. They try it. They're like, hey, Lou, I love it. Let's go ahead and make the final denture. And then we're like, okay, we're set. We're good to go. And not a lot of typical clinic even have that. You will go to your typical dentist, denturist, and they might not even offer this. And the second pillar of our business model is also these mobile denture clinic. And so we're able to go to different places. I can pick up everything and go to Toronto and set up there and then have my people that are coming in by appointment. So every time I go somewhere, I know that I will be meeting a set of people, and we're meeting around 6 to 8 people every time that we displace ourselves. We're also using digital technology and 3D printing. So what is important to understand is that we're offering dentures. We can also offer the top tier denture. We do have that little difference, but what we are offering in terms of pricing and the quality, like to ensure a good quality of service, is 3D printed denture. They are at a mature state where they are nano ceramic filled, so they're very hard. They're equivalent to what we're offering in traditional clinics, and we're able to get them at a low cost, high production, so reproducible on a high scale. And so therefore it's, we're gonna go back. And the last pillar is our social endeavor. We're really present with the Ottawa Mission and different non-NGOs and nonprofits that are present in different cities. And that's also how we leverage our promotion too. They refer a lot of their patients to us, and also we get known around the city, and we establish our presence with these organizations. So our dentures, to ensure quality and low cost, we're offering only 2 types of denture, 1 type of full denture and 1 type of partial denture. And our partial denture are somewhat of an innovation because they're flexible and they're metaless. So this is what you're looking at in terms of a flexible denture. Sorry, a partial denture. It is flexible. It is milled. It is created through our partner who has a CNC mill machine. So it comes from a puck and it's milled, and then we add on the teeth, and it still is very low cost to produce. But people actually love these. They don't like the metal ones because they're heavy, and also these are flexible. Therefore, they're more comfortable to put in and take out. And then also our full dentures are 3D printed. So we're able to really customize it to the way that the person likes it. So I've had a person that told me, hey, I don't like the way that my little canines look. Can you make them a little bit shorter? Sure, absolutely. We can make them shorter, make them exactly the way you like it. We can customize the color, which is a step also above of what traditional denture and denturist, traditional dentists and denturists offer. So our process, just to kind of give a good idea of how we do it, we start with a free virtual consultation. We make sure that our service fits the need of the customer. Not everybody will be comfortable with our service, but I would say that I have a good retention rate of like 80% of the consultation ends up being we pull the trigger on it. And so first we do an in-person impression. We tried doing impressions remotely. That didn't work out that well. So we will go, and so that's also the concept of the pop-up clinics. So people will come and meet us. We'll do impression or scans of the person's teeth. So the better the data is, the better we can create a denture that is fitting and that is precise. Afterwards, we create the dentures. And the next time that we see the patient, that person gets their dentures delivered. So in between, sometimes we have one extra meeting virtually, but that is a quick pop in your temporary denture. You get to try it too, which is absolutely great. And then they're like, hey, I really like the fit. So then we go ahead and we print the final denture. So the third step, which is really the second appointment, is an in-person delivery of those dentures with the adjustment made. So when we see this person, we make the adjustment, 90% of the denture is good to go. Their bite is fine, it's comfortable. Things will change in that person's mouth within the first 2 weeks. So they might get a blister or a little ulcer there. What we do is that we give them an adjustment kit, and they are taught how to use it. They kind of like smooth it a little bit, and then they're okay. They don't need those follow-up appointments that a lot of time we find as a dental professional to be a little bit more tiring, because the person comes back, readjust it, and then it's kind of like billable hours that are lost, which is not the case with our model here. They're able to do their own adjustment, and you'd be surprised by how much dexterity a 74-year-old lady has. So one of my recent patients, I phoned her and I was like, just for a follow-up, I was like, hey, how are you doing, Fern? And she's like, yeah, everything is good. I used the Dremel, and it kind of just took care of everything. So that's great. So we don't have these lengthy follow-up appointment. And so really the rest is really to make sure that we have that follow-up, that virtual care, to make sure that they're taking care of their dentures appropriately, and the adjustment kit that we give them takes care of most of the things. So our market overview, we are in a market that's driven by demand for cheaper dental care because of the incidence of tooth decay, especially amongst younger generation. Not only older people are losing their teeth, but also younger people that get a hockey puck to the face. So that's definitely something to think about. And also we have our market advantage, which is we're first to the game with the 3D printed, and also we're offering low overheads. Our total addressable market is $4.5 billion, and our local market, we're competition with with dentists and denturists, but we're still offering our cost around 60 to 70% lower than everybody else. So dentists generally, they're very, very expensive, but they're nice because they're a one-stop shop. Denturists are our main competitor. We offer the same kind of products, but we're also better in terms of pricing. And also there are online denture offerings. We are looking at pooling this full denture process into a fully digital process. So that's why I put this in there. It's something that we're working on, but it's just to let you know that in the States, you can actually go online and buy your denture online without ever seeing a professional, which is not what we recommend. So pricing structure wise, we are currently using a market penetrating pricing, which means that our partial dentures are cost $480 for the customer, and there's no taxes whatsoever. So, and the full denture costs $620. The cost of good to produce these appliances for the partial denture is $219, and the full denture is $156. So we're doing a really good overhead, not overhead, but a good profit on these dentures. And we're looking as of October 1st to actually October 1st is passed. So we're currently in these kind of pricing. We have increased our prices, and they've been generally well received. And we're still, regardless, cheaper than everybody else. And I don't like the word cheap, but I would say affordable. So affordable is the key here. So our year one projection, or around 152, we're looking to create more pop-up clinics. Our year two assumptions are way higher because we want to tap into remote locations such as First Nations that are up north. I've been to remote regions like Vermont, where you really have to do a 7-hour plane ride to get there. So we are looking to access these people just because we're able to come in and come back, and then it's really two trips, and it's kind of something that we're looking into in discussion, and it's a way that we think that we can bring a lot of good with virtual care and a combination of mobile and virtual care. So Our team, I have 4 dental assistants. They're absolutely great. They're currently my volunteers. They're not seeking any sort of remuneration. If we are expanding, I'm looking to bring them on. So these lovely ladies are all believing in the dream. So, and they're also willing to work for me. And we've ironed the kinks out. Absolutely love them. We're a great team. So our milestones, we got into first customers. Currently in Ottawa, we're seeing around 10 to 20 customers per month, but we're also just started as of May, June, July. We've gone to the EY Center at the 55 Plus show. We've got a lot of interest. People locally are interested. So we're looking to reach out to different areas and to just really increase our reach and to get the word out there that we're able to do this, and that we're a lot more affordable than everybody else. So we're looking at Shibut for investment. We will hope for a non-dilutive investment, but we're open to also VCs. But I will keep contributing to this business. I have invested already $50,000 of my own money, so I've been only bootstrapping. I'm the sole investor and sole owner, and I'm looking to invest another 50,000 in just expanding our capacity and production, buying more printers, and putting more money onto the promotion and the marketing side of things. So our goal is to become the Hotel Trivago of like dentures. When you think of us, at least consider us. You might not go with that depending on your need, but at least think of us that we're here, we're present, and we strive to become Canada's leading denture care provider. Thank you very much for your time.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lou. We're still a little over time, so we've got to cut that back. That's okay. It's okay. So maybe some of our feedback could be centered around, what information to provide, what potentially could be removed from the deck, or what could Lou potentially spend less time expanding on. If that's part of your feedback, that would be great. Let's start with Alec. Are you there?
I am.
Beautiful.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
We can hear you. Yes, we can see you too.
Great. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, I love the enthusiasm. The slides are very professional. I like the images, all that kind of stuff. I find a bit of a challenge in the scope of what you're trying to do. There's a lot of innovation that's happening and changes to the business model all at once. So you're going mobile with a roving clinic. You have low cost approach. You have 3D printed flexible stuff, which is interesting. You have the virtual clinic and visits and stuff like that. And you're taking a social approach. So that seems like a lot of things. So this is kind of core, but honing those down to what you're really going to do the best, I think would be key. It's admirable that everybody's volunteering and the social aspect of the business, but in the end, this is about investment and making a lot of money for everybody. So you have to keep that in mind from an investor perspective. I think your virtual visit sounds interesting. I'm kind of baffled as to how that works and how you can, prepare all this stuff virtually. I'd love to know a bit more about that. I do also kind of wonder if you're targeting remote communities or the missions or these kind of places. Like, are these the same target market that can go do virtual visits? So big question mark there. You're actively doing this, so you're in operations, which is fantastic. So what are your revenue numbers? I don't want to see the forecast really, because it doesn't mean that much to me just yet. I want to know, what are you doing? Like, how many deals are you doing? What are your margins? All that kind of stuff. And if you did bring on your 4 people that are volunteering, what is that going to mean to your margins? So, so sorry, I didn't address any of how to shorten it at all. I love your personal anecdotes and your excitement, so I understand why you're running over, because you like to talk about it. And passion is very important as a founder. So lots of good stuff there, but yeah, you do have to shorten it. Hope that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, Naomi.
Off mute. Yeah, I thought it was fascinating, and I do have a few comments to start off with. I thought that actually that story that you gave me of this lady's journey, that actually could help truncate some of the information that you had written down. So make that part of the story and just sort of drop in the benefits for her. I felt I was missing a bit of a human connection. I think it's like wonderful. So and if we start at the very beginning as to why people need dentures in the first place, why it's good for human beings to actually have teeth, isn't there a health issue if you don't have all your teeth, or, you know, potentially it can lead to worse outcomes? And so, you know, driving that point home as to why addressing a wider population that can't ordinarily afford this is good for human beings generally, or for the communities. I think might be a good place to start, and then you can sort of launch into this lady's story. And I don't know if she was one of the lower income people, but you know, if she wasn't, or even she, you know, you could have a hypothetical how, you know, how you interacted and how you would interact with that population. So I think that brings it to life more for me. I mean, I thought you had really good content. You just needed that human aspect to it.
Thank you.
One thing I was thinking of too, when you're thinking about remote communities and sort of like the social aspect, are those possibly, like, if you had a not-for-profit that was sort of, you know, willing to fund a certain population to have, you know, better healthcare? This is essentially helping with the healthcare, right, of people.
Exactly, yeah.
It's fundamental. So, you know, it's possible that you may get some revenue that way too, right?
Yes.
And I'm not sure if that's something that you've explored, maybe even government, right? And I think that was sort of, yeah, that may be, I might think of more. I'll let the next person talk. But thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Fran.
Yeah, so I think, Lou, I definitely love the social aspect, like your enthusiasm of the business. This is definitely a plus. I think as Kate said, where we can trim, I think your impact portion at the beginning can trim down, because I was struggling quite a bit. I totally understand, you know, this is important and critical for people who are looking for a job or just for the daily activities. But I get it immediately. So then you can jump into more about your company's position, because I was also very struggling. At the beginning, I was thinking, oh, is that means like we actually have a differentiated product? Is that like, is it material wise, or something is about the product we're offering? But actually later on, I realized actually it's not. It's the model, the business model you're going for, virtual mobile is the differentiation from the regular business offer. So this can be maybe stronger or positioned at the beginning on how you want to sell in your company as a business model, disruptive business model kind of offer to the market compared with the others. Because otherwise people will think, are you a service company? Are you a product? Or you're actually just so that was a bit confused. Or like you mentioning 3D printing, digital access, because I was like, okay, is there something about digital software or something you're having for design the dentry product? And so I was confused quite a bit. And then you're talking about your pricing, because I wrote down 2 notes, the pricing slide and the projection slide. Great to have this number. Because I would love to know, if I'm an investor, like why your cost is much lower than the other products in the market. How can you make sure like to maintain the low price selling point? That would be curious for me. And also, you can mention some margin percentage. It might be easier for investor to do the calculation, and just more straightforward when they look at the slide. They immediately get it. Okay, this is actually how much margin you are having. Then they immediately can get the number instead of, and also a chart like Yesha was having on her slide. This chart the growth kind of number, it will be very helpful, visualized for the investors. Then another question I was having is, okay, if you're a virtual business model, then I'm assuming the volume you're doing is much larger. The scalability side is much larger or efficient than the regular offer in the market. Because investors also want to make money, as Alec mentioned earlier. Then you probably want to give them some comparison. You know, the current speed of the entry service compared with what I'm offering virtually, or like the frequency or the volume I can do, like, I don't know, like what will be the best number to show from your industry background? Is there like number of the visits we're having, or number of the speed of appointments? Like something can show the comparison will be very helpful. Like it just to show the volume we can do is much larger than the regular service model. And we can increase our revenue. Like at this point, the traction is where who are our customer, but this is our kind of go-to-market strategy. We're planning to partner with the association, for example, or we're trying to figure out who we wanted to work with to get more customer on board to maintain and increase the volume, because they want to see the vision at the early stage, why they want to invest money to your company compared with the others. What's the return and how you get these return, right? So that could be a very helpful information for them. If you want to really focusing on the virtual portion, then we need to kind of focusing on that particular piece. And for example, what's your roadmap for the city-wise? Now you're just in Ottawa, and how much pop-up virtual you can do, or with the investments you can actually expand to Toronto, for example, and offer to the community over there. So the whole picture will be very helpful on the scalability side. And then you're asking for then you talk about your team. Understood, like these are all volunteers, but eventually if you're taking this into a more formalized business, then what's the exactly role your team gonna be doing? Because you have a lot of components in your business. You need to do virtual care. You need to do the product manufacturing side, and maybe some customer sales. So a kind of the team design will be helpful to show, you know, I actually more thinking like a business owner. I'm designing a whole team with different roles and responsibilities. And also you asking for investment, and then maybe you might have it in the appendix slide. You're asking for this amount of money plus your own. What these money are really used for? I know you have the talking points, but if you have the breakdown to show how much percentage I'm going to use for the hiring, maybe like 50%. And then 30% is from volume on the product manufacturing, or some else is for other miscellaneous costs. Some kind of breakdown of the use of cost will be helpful. That's about what I wrote down.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you both so much. We appreciate your time, and thank you to the founders for all the hard work that you've done to prep your slide decks and deliver your pitch. We're getting close to the deadline, remember, October 24th. And reminder that for support with your deck, we also have Chi Li, whose information is available. I know I already talked to Yichil about it, but Lou, just in case you haven't booked time with her, she's really an impressive creative designer, so she can support if you want help as well, strategically working on different aspects of the deck, like Feiran had said about, you know, building charts and things like that. She can support that too, once you have the details. Okay, I'm going to close the session because I'm moving into our next pitch practice, but thank you all. And if you have any questions for me, please let me know.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.